Okay, think about this for a second. Those little things you do every day, kind of without thinking, like
Hmm.
how you make your coffee or the way you zone out on your phone.
Yeah, totally.
Those are habits, and they really sort of add up to shape our whole lives.
They absolutely do. And what's interesting is being able to talk about them properly in English. It's not just about self-help.
Right.
It actually makes your English sound much more natural, more fluent.
So that's our mission for this deep dive then.
Pretty much. We want to unpack what habits actually are, figure out how to talk about them well in English,
Okay.
and give you some hopefully useful ways to think about your own habits and improve your language skills at the same time.
And we've got material covering definitions, grammar, vocabulary, the whole package.
Yep, definitions, grammar, loads of vocabulary, and even strategies for discussing habits.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning. What exactly is a habit?
Well, basically, it's just something you do really regularly, often so regularly you don't even consciously decide to do it anymore.
Like it's on autopilot.
Exactly. One source puts it nicely. A habit is something you do so often it becomes automatic.
Hmm. Like grabbing that morning coffee without even thinking.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Or maybe always checking your emails first thing. It's just part of the routine.
Okay, makes sense. But why is it so important to be able to talk about these automatic things?
Well, a few reasons,
Uh-huh.
really. First off, you probably do talk about habits all the time, maybe without labeling them as such.
How so?
When you just describe your typical day, that's mostly a string of habits,
Oh,
right?
yeah, I see that.
And being able to articulate those habits, that lets you describe your life, your routine, how you operate. It's fundamental self-expression.
It paints a picture for people.
Exactly. Plus, understanding native speakers, they talk about their daily routines and habits constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the biggest thing, being able to talk about habits, the good ones and the ones you want to ditch.
Yeah.
That allows you to talk about change, about personal growth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's powerful stuff, both for you personally and for your English.
Okay, so if we want to talk about these regular actions, what kind of grammar do we need?
The main one, the absolute foundation, is the present simple tense.
Right.
We use that for things that are happening regularly now, part of your current routine.
Like the examples you mentioned?
Yeah, the sources gave us things like, I wake up at 6 a.m., or she drinks coffee every morning.
Okay. Or we go to the gym twice a week. Standard routine stuff.
Exactly. Describes regular, current actions.
But what if we want to say how regular? Like, not just that we do it, but how often?
Good question. That's where adverbs of frequency are key.
Okay.
Words like always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, never. You slot those in.
So instead of just he walks to work, it's he usually walks to work.
Perfect. Or I never eat junk food. Adds that layer of frequency.
Mhm.
Much more specific.
Got it. Now, what about habits from the past? Things we don't do anymore?
For that, we use the structure used to.
Ah, used to.
Yeah, it signals a past habit that's finished. Like,
Yeah.
I used to smoke, but I quit.
Or she used to live in London implies she doesn't now.
Precisely. It's great for storytelling, talking about how things have changed in your life. Really useful.
Okay, present habits, past habits. What about just being accustomed to something? It's a habit, but you're comfortable with it.
Right. That state of being familiar or comfortable with a repeated action. For that, we use be used to plus ing.
Be used to plus the ing form.
Yep. So, I'm used to waking up early. It means waking up early feels normal to me now.
Okay. Or he's used to working under pressure. He's adapted to it.
Exactly. It describes that state of being accustomed.
And then what about when you're in the process of forming a new habit? It's not quite automatic yet.
For that ongoing adaptation, we use get used to plus ing.
Get used to.
Yeah, like I'm getting used to eating healthy. It means I'm in the process. It's becoming more normal for me.
Okay. Or they're getting used to speaking English every day. It emphasizes the journey, the adaptation happening over time.
Spot on. It really captures that feeling of something becoming more routine.
Okay, grammar makes sense. Let's get into some concrete examples. What about good habits? What kind of vocabulary came up?
Well, the sources had a nice list. Things like wait up early.
Mm-hmm.
Example, I wake up early to start my day with energy. Classic good habit.
Definitely. What else?
Exercise regularly. Like, I exercise 3 times a week to stay fit.
Good one.
Read every day.
Mm-hmm.
Someone might say, I've developed the habit of reading 10 pages every night.
Nice little routine.
Yeah. And very relevant for you listening, study English daily.
Yes.
Like studying English is part of my daily routine now,
Mhm.
making it a habit.
Excellent goal.
Yeah.
Any others on the good list?
Sure. Uh, Drink more water. I try to drink at least 2 liters of water a day.
Always a challenge.
Tell me about it. Plan your day. Like, I write a to-do list every morning, very organized.
Mm-hmm.
Also cultivating positivity, practice gratitude. Maybe every night I write 3 things I'm grateful for.
That's a lovely one.
And finally, meditate. As in, meditation helps me clear my mind and stay focused.
Right, so lots of positive actions there. It's useful seeing them with the sentences. Maybe you listening can think which ones you already do or want to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, inevitably, we have to talk about the other side, the bad habits.
Ah, yes. The ones we often want to change. The sources had some common ones. Procrastinate.
Oh, the classic.
Yeah. I have a bad habit of procrastinating on important tasks. Sound familiar?
Maybe a little. What else?
Check your phone too much.
Yeah.
Like I check my phone every 10 minutes without thinking. Very common these days.
Too common.
Then there's binge watch shows. I often binge watch Netflix late at night.
Guilty.
And diet related. Eat junk food. Someone might say I'm trying to cut down on junk food.
Yeah, a constant battle for many. Any other common ones?
Go to bed too late. Like, I stay up too late scrolling on my phone. Relates back to the phone checking often.
That's true.
And what about interaction? Interrupt others. Someone might say, I'm working on not interrupting people during conversations.
Yeah.
Takes conscious effort.
It really does. Now, did the sources also give us ways to talk about, like, trying to stop these?
Yes, absolutely. Some really useful phrases came up for discussing breaking bad habits.
Oh, good. Like what?
Things like, I'm trying to break the habit of. You just add the habit.
Okay.
Or, more directly, I need to stop. Followed by the action.
Simple enough.
And also acknowledging it. It's a bad habit, but I'm working on it. Shows awareness and effort. Very handy phrases.
Okay, so we have the basic grammar. We've got lists of good and bad habits. Are there more natural-sounding ways, maybe more idiomatic ways to talk about habits, things native speakers might use more often?
Yeah, definitely. Our sources pulled out some great everyday expressions. For instance, instead of just saying, I have a habit of journaling, you could say, I've got into the habit of journaling every night.
Got into the habit of. Sounds more like a process.
Exactly. Or if it's already established, I'm in the habit of checking emails first thing in the morning.
Okay, in the habit of. Nice. What else?
For a habit you just can't seem to shake, there's, I can't seem to stop.
No.
Like, I can't seem to stop biting my nails. Expresses that struggle.
Relatable for some, I'm sure.
Then there's simply stating its place in your day. It's part of my routine.
Yeah.
As in, brushing my teeth right after coffee is just part of my routine. Shows it's fixed, automatic.
And what about that feeling of doing something completely unconsciously?
Right. For that, the phrase is, I do it without thinking.
Perfect.
Like the example, I open Instagram without even thinking about it. Captures that automaticity perfectly. Using these really levels up the naturalness.
Right. So we know what they are, how to describe them grammatically, specific words, even these more natural phrases. What about the process of changing habits? How do we talk about actively trying to build better ones or break bad ones?
Our material had some really good proactive phrases for this. You could say something quite general like, I'm trying to build better habits.
Okay, simple and clear.
Or talk about specific actions you've started. I've started waking up earlier. Or emphasizing the effort. I'm making an effort to be more organized.
I like that one, making an effort. Shows intention. Any others?
Yeah. Acknowledging that it takes time. Little by little, I'm changing my routine.
Nice. Because it often is little by little, isn't it?
Absolutely. And then a very direct one about substitution. I'm replacing bad habits with better ones.
That's key. Swapping one for another.
Exactly. And the example provided was great. I used to waste hours watching videos, but now I'm trying to replace that habit with reading or listening to English podcasts.
Perfect example showing the used to for the past habit and the replacement strategy. That's really practical language. This has been super useful, really breaking down the language of habits. Now, for everyone listening, how can you actually, use all this?
Well, the sources had some great practice questions. They're perfect for self-reflection, or even better, for practicing your English.
Okay, like what sort of questions?
Things like, what's a good habit you have? Or the opposite, what's a bad habit you want to break?
Good starting points.
Also, what's something you do every day without thinking? Makes you identify those automatic actions. How has your routine changed recently? Gets you thinking about shifts. What habit has made your life better? Focusing on the positive impact.
Right.
And what's a habit you're proud of? And maybe most practically, How do you form new habits?
Those are brilliant prompts. Seriously, if you're listening, maybe pause after this and just think about one or two of those. Try answering them out loud or write them down. Great practice.
Definitely. It connects the language directly to your own life.
Okay, so let's quickly recap. We've seen that habits are these automatic things we do.
Right, they shape our days.
And talking about them in English involves specific grammar, present simple, used to, be used to, get used to.
And knowing the right vocabulary for good habits, bad habits, and those handy everyday phrases.
And crucially, being able to talk about changing habits is a big part of expressing personal growth.
Exactly. It all ties together.
And it really drives home that point about how much these seemingly small routines matter. You mentioned that quote early.
Yeah, the James Clear quote our sources highlighted. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits.
Wow. That really lands, doesn't it? Hits hard.
It does. It puts the focus squarely on those daily systems. So maybe the takeaway for you listening is just pick one tiny habit,
Yeah.
something you want to start or maybe something you want to stop. And just think about how you'd talk about it using some of the language we discussed today.
A great challenge. Connect the language to real life, real change.
Exactly. Consider the power those little automatic actions have, not just on your life, but on your journey to fluency, too.